It is time. The first big balance patch for Tekken 8 has gone live with a wide variety of changes for most of the cast. Azucena might have been the character that's been hit the hardest by these changes, but the future for her is still exciting and bright. Let's go through her changes and explain what they mean. Starting off with the balance direction of the character, the developers have done a great job at explaining their intentions for Azucena in Tekken 8 by including a few lines on what they intend for her gameplay. To summarize them, they're looking to nerf overly strong moves, and they're trying to move her away from the low risk poking style she once had by nerfing these tools and instead focusing on her stances. This is in line with the general philosophy of Tekken 8 balance, so nothing surprises me here, as they're trying to move away from lower commitments and instead move to more exciting and expressive gameplay. The second half of the paragraph they've included explains that buffs to Azucena's moves that make her distinct will be coming in the next patch, so while she's being nerfed pretty hard now, there are exciting changes to look forward to in the future. The first change on the list is a buff that's been given to many characters, and it involves her rage art. During her rage art, she will now move more forward when intercepting attacks, so it's more consistent. However, in the example I recorded, Azucena's rage art still seems to have hitbox issues, so whilst it may be more consistent, it's not quite there yet. Azucena's 1-1 jab string has received a pretty heavy nerf. Firstly, the hitbox of the 1 jab itself has been nerfed to make it steppable to the left on low plus frames. Previously, the 1 jab would track at +1, whereas now it will whiff. The move has also moved from being safe on block at -9 to unsafe at -10, meaning it should mostly only be used for punishment where you want to enforce her Libertador stance. Finally, the pushback on both hit and block has been reduced, which will make it easier to punish for opponents but also keeps them closer for a Libertador mix when you land it. 2-1 has received pretty similar treatment to 1-1. Like the 1 jab, the hitbox of the 2 jab has also been nerfed so it can be stepped left. With the second hit's recovery being increased by 4 frames, the string moves from -3 on block to -7. While still safe and usable, this is a huge change as it prevents you from spamming 2-1 into 2-1 on block. At -7, this also means Azucena will struggle to sidestep the opponent's attacks when they block it, meaning you have to commit to a riskier option on a read, such as finishing the string with a 3rd hit or using the Sabaki. On hit, it is also less plus, moving from +7 to +3, meaning the opponent will still be able to move around most of your follow-up attacks when they get hit, so offense will need to be well thought out. Whilst the move still jails on block, Azucena's down forward 1-4 string has also received some big tweaks. Firstly, the input window on the second hit has been reduced, meaning it can no longer be delayed. On the previous patch, Azucena could delay the second hit on block and counter hit confirm the third to catch people attacking after down forward 1. This mind game no longer exists. Next, the damage of the second hit has been reduced by 4, from 17 to 13 damage, making the string as a whole do less damage. This means that one of her main wall combos has also received a slight nerf. The second hit has also received a big tracking nerf. Last patch, it would often catch opponents sidestepping the first hit, forcing them to sidewalk around it, but now it whiffs quite easily with a small step. Finally, the duration and hitbox of the third high extension has been reduced. This is to prevent opponents getting counter hit when they are behind her. This change also allows the opponent to step the third high to the right without much effort. Azucena's down back 3 has also received a slight buff, moving from 12 damage to 14 damage. This is really strong as it's a core poke that puts her in back turn that can be made safe with the back turn parry. It also hits on the ground and tracks extremely well to both sides, so having a damage buff to a move that can be used in many situations is always a bonus. This change was likely enforced to encourage the player to utilise her back turn stance attacks. Azucena's other core low poke, however, has received a slight nerf, with down back 4 moving from 17 damage to 13 damage. This hurts a little as it was like a power low for her, which she no longer has. In fact, it's now less damage than the buffed down back 3 and cannot be made safe with a mind game, meaning this low's utility will mainly be for high crushing, long range, or for playing a different situation to back turn. I wasn't able to replicate the issue described for this one, but Azucena's back 1-1 string has received a slight quality of life buff to prevent the second hit unexpectedly whiffing on hit or block. Whilst likely just a bug fix, this move also tracks extremely well to both sides, so with the nerfs to jab tracking, this might be encouragement to utilise this move more when opponents are sidestepping you. Forward 4 has received a damage reduction, with follow-ups doing less damage after a combo scaling nerf. Forward 4 into the guaranteed crouch grab now does 42 damage instead of 51. Whilst a big damage change, I never really thought this move was any good, so I don't think it changes much. Now the one we've all been waiting for, Azucena's running 3-2 has been hit hard again. The second hit now does 7 less damage for a total of 30 damage. It has now also moved from +5 on block to only +2. This change is huge as it means opponents have access to more consistent movement and are able to respond with attacks more frequently as well as armor. Opponents who jab will also be able to beat Azucena's down forward 1 checks, and opponents are able to use armor such as Heat Burst and Power Crush to contest her jabs. Opponents can also now step around Azucena's jab checks in this situation when they couldn't previously. Azucena's down forward 2 still tracks quite well in this situation and can only be avoided with a sidewalk left, which could be done last patch, but now it's much easier. However, since a lot of the poke strings whiff on a slight sidestep left into guard, the down forward 2 can also be blocked by doing this for a punish. Finally, a slight nerf for Azucena's down 1+2 that I don't quite understand yet, but apparently her boxes for opponents counterattacking have been increased, and a quality of life change has been implemented to remove unintentional side swapping. And that concludes our breakdown for the Azucena changes in patch 1.04. Look, there may be a lot of nerfs, but the patch notes do imply that exciting things are coming for our future, so we're just going to have to ride it out for the next couple months. What do you think? Do you think the changes are perfect? Do you think they're too much? Are you rejoicing? Are you hating it? Let me know in the comments down below. A big thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.